Hello, welcome. My name is Toby McChesney, Assistant Dean of Graduate Recruiting and Student Services at the Georgia State University J. Mac Robinson College of Business. And I welcome you all to our webinar today. And I hope that down the road you join our campus here in Atlanta, Georgia. And I look forward to welcoming you at orientation. Georgia State University has 32,000 students total, of which 8,000 are within the Robinson College of Business family. We are the 5th largest business school, and we have roughly 1,600 graduate students, and I look forward to seeing you on our campus.
Hello, welcome to Robinson.
Welcome to Robinson.
नमस्ते, रॉबिन्सन कॉलेज ऑफ बिजनेस में आपका स्वागत है।
Hi, welcome to Robinson.
欢迎来到 Robinson 商学院。
Bienvenido a la Escuela de Robinson.
Hi, welcome to Robinson.
Hi, I'm Nicole,
Hi, I'm Felton.
and we're graduate admissions recruiters.
And we're glad you joined us here today.
Hi, my name is Allison Jacobs, the Associate Director of Graduate Recruiting at the Robinson College of Business. As you can see, our faculty, staff, and students are very excited about the prospect of you joining us this fall and becoming a member of our large and diverse family.
Good morning or good evening, wherever you're Skyping in from. My name is Toby McChesney, Assistant Dean of the Graduate Programs. And as you saw from the video, I'm always excited to welcome our newly accepted students. We have a full room here in Atlanta, Georgia to greet you all. But more importantly, I do look forward to welcoming you all to orientation season in August. And this webinar is designed to make sure you know the next steps, but also to ask any questions. And after we present, you can ask any questions you have for my team that will be able to assist you. But as you saw from the short video here at Robinson, we are a very large business school. We have esteemed faculty and rankings and amazing programs that you all are accepted to. I'm also proud to inform you all that you are part of our most competitive applicant pool in Robinson's history. We had the most international and outside of Georgia students apply this fall than before. Our GMAT and GRE scores are up, so congratulations again on being accepted. Part of the reason why we've increased the enrollment in this fall is due to a new initiative we have here at Robinson College of Business with international and outside Atlanta recruiting, and that's headed by Allison Jacobs, who is our Associate Director of Graduate Recruiting, and she works closely with Felton Todd and Nicole Westfall. These three individuals have worked hard to travel the road. They've gone to India and China, Korea, Latin America, Carolinas, Florida. I'm probably missing a few countries and states, but here at Robinson, we're very serious about bringing in more diverse students. Now that you're transitioning to a current student in August, that's our goal. You'll be transitioning to first Tracy Cooper, who works with all of our one-year MS students in our Buckhead Center, which a lot of you are, primarily the one-year MS in Information Systems, or the Master of Science in Information Systems Audit and Control. If you are a flexible MBA or specialized master's student based in our downtown programs, you'll be working with Tanya Mosley, who is our Senior Associate Director of Advising. And also, for those of you still needing help with the international visa process, all those fun things with government, Drew Webster is here from International Student Scholar Services. And last but not least is Lindsay Myers, who works with students in the career services area. So she's the one that will sort of help you navigate how to hopefully get a great job at one of our companies, and she'll talk more about that down the road. And last but not least, we have two current students in the room. We have a one-year Master of Science in the Information Systems student who graduates in August, who's been heading up our Facebook group, which we'll talk more about, Gaurav. And we also have Molin, who's in our Masters of Professional Accountancy program, who graduates in May, very sadly. But both of them have amazing jobs, so they can talk about that as well, and are good student voices. So again, I look forward to seeing you in August. Once we're done, by all means, please ask questions, and we want to make sure that you have your tools necessary to move to Atlanta. I will now turn it over to Allison to go over the agenda. Thank you all.
As Toby mentioned, we are so excited that you have joined us today, and all of us on this webinar want to say congratulations on being accepted to the Robinson College of Business. We know you have a lot of questions about student life, getting a job, and the next steps in the enrollment process. So all of our student services team will spend the next hour with you covering these topics, along with graduate research assistantships, orientations, and start dates, and how to connect with fellow admitted students. We hope to cover the majority of your questions, so please wait until the end of the webinar to type your questions into the chat box. Also, as you know, we are always available to answer questions specific to your situation, so please ask questions that will benefit the entire group. I would like to begin by telling you a little bit about student life at the Robinson College of Business. Our campuses are located in the heart of the business district of Atlanta, meaning that you have direct access to our corporate partners and more than 80,000 RCB alumni. We are within walking distance to some of the best known companies in the world, including CNN, Coca-Cola, and the Big Four accounting firms. Nearly daily, you will have the opportunity to interact with representatives from the many companies that surround our campus. Georgia State University is one of the most diverse has one of the most diverse student bodies in the country, with over 1,600 international students from 110 countries. We have many student organizations within the Robinson College of Business and Georgia State, so you will immediately be able to connect with students that share your area of interest. I will go into a little more detail about these student organizations on the next slide. So because of our location, our diversity, and large number of student organizations, you will have the opportunity to network with professionals in your field of interest nearly every day, whether it's some of your classmates that may be employed at a company you're interested in, a guest speaker that may work in your field, or one of the many events that our Career Services Office will be hosting. You will always have an opportunity to meet professionals that may someday be working at a firm you will be employed at. Finally, you have a team of student professionals, student services professionals, many of whom are on this webinar today, that are dedicated to your success as a student and beyond. As mentioned in the previous slide, our student organizations are some of the most active in the country and provide you with multiple opportunities to network with people in the field. I would like to highlight a few of those organizations and opportunities on this slide. So first of all, the minute you join Georgia State, you will have the opportunity to join the Graduate Business Association. The GBA is an organization that is dedicated to networking with your fellow students as well as alumni in a relaxed setting. We also are very proud of our Panthers on Wall Street program. Each year we take a group of our best finance, accounting, and risk management students to New York to meet with professionals in investment banks, insurance company, and Big Four accounting firms. This is a picture of our 2011 Panthers on Wall Street group, and if you look very closely, you will see me in the middle of that picture. Another organization that we're very proud of is our Beta Alpha Psi group. Beta Alpha Psi is dedicated to honoring students in the accounting, information systems, and finance profession. At each meeting, you will have an opportunity to network with people in the Big Four accounting firms and corporations in Atlanta, and also hear a number of guest speakers regarding topics relevant to your field. In addition to the Panthers on Wall Street trip, we also take a group of students to London to learn more about working in London and in Europe. We also have a number of organizations dedicated to the diverse group of student body that we have at Georgia State. We are in the process of starting a multicultural business student association, and we also have a very active Chinese student union. These organizations will introduce you to many students from around the world and also ease your transition into Atlanta. We have so many organizations on campus, it would take me forever to list them, but if you go to gsu.orgsync.com, you will see a list of all the organizations and hopefully find one now that you can join once you come in August. So I bet if I asked the question to all of you, how many of you are coming to graduate school to get a new or better job, all of you would raise your hand. We know that this is very important to you, and we have a lot of resources available to you to help you with this process. I would quickly like to highlight some of our placement statistics, which we are very proud of, and hopefully that you will be able to be part of once you graduate from the program. Our accounting program is very well known in Georgia and in the Southeast, and we have all the accounting firms in Atlanta, namely the Big Four, recruiting the students from our MPA, Master of Taxation, and Masters in Information Systems Audit and Control program. Because of our location where many of the firms can walk to campus, you will immediately have the opportunity to meet and network with professionals. Our mathematical risk management program, which is a very unique program and is known around the country, boasts nearly 100% placement within 3 months of our students graduating. Our MSIS program is also very, very marketable, with 80% of our students receiving jobs at graduation, and then that number, of course, increases as we go out 3 to 6 months. So these are just a few of the companies that have very recently hired our students. But I do want to make a note that, the most successful students in all of these programs not only perform well in their program, they take advantage of all the resources that we have to offer, and namely are very active in at least one, if not more, of our student organizations. And the students that take advantage of every opportunity that we have typically secure a job very quickly after graduating. I'd like to also highlight some of the companies that have hired our students in the last couple of years, and this is across all of our programs. And as you can see, we have a number of very well-known companies that recruit on campus and partake in the many networking opportunities that we offer. So once you join the Robinson family, you will definitely be in good company. I would now like to turn things over to Nicole to talk to you a little bit more about our locations and living in Atlanta.
So just to give you an overview of what our program locations are, first I want to talk a little bit about the downtown location. It is located in the heart of Atlanta, minutes from many of the Fortune 500 companies. It is GSU's main campus, and most of our flexible MBA and specialized master's classes are held here. The downtown location is easily accessible by our subway station, which is the MARTA. You can also see in the map all of the different locations highlighted in red. Next, we have our Buckhead campus, located just 5 miles north of the downtown campus in Buckhead's business district. All of our one-year specialized master's programs and global partners classes are held here, and starting in the fall, we will offer Flex MBA classes here. This location is also accessible by the MARTA. And lastly, we have our Alpharetta campus, located 30 miles north of the downtown campus. This campus is a suburban area, and our executive MS in managing information technology and our PMBA classes are held here. So now I want to talk a little bit about living in Atlanta. So something that most of you may not know about the Atlanta area is that it has many different neighborhoods, each with a different culture and feel. Some of the main neighborhoods that our graduate students consider living in include obviously our downtown near the main campus area. There's also Midtown, the Virginia Highlands, and the Old Fourth Ward. These 3 neighborhoods carry a young, hip crowd in locations within 10 to 15 minutes of the downtown and Buckhead campuses. Another great neighborhood for those studying at the Buckhead campus is the Buckhead-Lindbergh area. And I'll have Gaurav, one of our current students, talk a little bit about the Lindbergh and Buckhead area.
So Buckhead and Lindbergh, these are 2 different areas, but for those who have classes at Buckhead campus, it's really, Lindbergh is really accessible to those students. I live at Lindbergh, and it's right just 1 stop away from Buckhead. And there are many international students who live at Lindbergh area, and these are very important for those students who do not want to live in the main campus because it's kind of far from the Buckhead campus. And we have Uptown Square these 3 apartments. We thought it would be good to list them out for you. These are the main apartments in those areas, and of course there are many more, but these are the major ones.
And also, there is a site and company that will work with you to help you move. They're called ProMove. And you can just go to promove.com, and it has a lot of listings of where to live and how the best ways to help you move throughout the Atlanta area. We also have an off-campus housing locator on our GSU website. Just go to deanofstudents.gsu.edu and click on student assistance and off-campus living, and there is a whole site dedicated to off-campus living. Now just to talk a little bit about the cost of living in Atlanta. So off-campus, typically, depending on where you live, it's anywhere from $400 to $1,000 a month. It's typically cheaper in the suburbs and a little bit more expensive in the city. And typically, utilities cost about $100 a month. Something to note also is that most off-campus apartments come unfurnished, so you will have to provide your own. However, IKEA is located just a couple minutes away from both of our campuses, which is really accessible and really great for picking out some new furniture. So also, like we said, we have on-campus apartments. You can take a look through there, and we have shared lofts, private 2-bedroom, shared apartments with a meal plan. If that's something that kind of interests you, go ahead and go to myhousing.gsu.edu. So now, hopefully, we've convinced you that you want to deposit, and we're going to talk a little bit about what happens from here. So, since we've convinced you, you can log into the application system, select View Decision, and once you are in the area to view your decision, you should see the option to submit your deposit. Go ahead and just submit your $250 deposit, and from there, we'll have some next steps, and we'll kind of go over that in the next couple of slides. If you are having trouble depositing, please contact Brandon, and he'll be able to help you with that. So now I'm going to turn it over to Tanya Mosley, and she's going to speak a little bit about our Flex programs and the advising that comes along with that. Tanya?
Thank you, Nicole. Hello, everybody. I'm excited that you guys are joining us, and I am the Assistant Director of our Student Services Unit for students that are pursuing a flexible program. So we're a team of 2. We have Ian Schonberg, who would usually advise students that are in our MBA programs or our MBA Master of Health Administration programs. I advise students that are in the MS programs, namely the MS Business Economics program, the MS Managerial Science programs, the Master of Professional Accountancy program, the Master of Actuarial Science program, the Master of Science in Risk Management, whether you are pursuing the concentration in mathematical risk management or not, and our Master of Health Administration. So what usually happens once you deposit is you'll get an email confirming payment, and then that email tells you all about orientation, because orientation is mandatory for all students. And this orientation is not the same as the international orientation. So you will still attend the international orientation, but you are still required to attend our college orientation. We will always tell you if you have holds on your record that needs to be cleared to allow registration. Normally, you might have immigration holds until your immigration documents are processed by our International Student Services Office. We will work with you to get those holds removed. Once those holds are removed, we can talk to you about registration options. This will get you all set for your first semester, but you will need to schedule a meeting with your advisor depending on the program you are in, so that we can develop a program plan for you, depending on how long you wish to take to complete your degree program. You may schedule an appointment through Skype. You may attend in person, or you could schedule the appointment for phone. Either option will work just fine for you. Again, our orientation is mandatory, and for most of you, since you cannot get into the country until roughly about a month before classes start, you will be looking at the August 22nd orientation, and you register for the orientation the same way you register for classes. So once you've digested all the information in the email, we will contact you to find out if you have any questions. And then we review your transcripts to see if you qualify for waivers in the foundation area of your program. This is based on your completed coursework in your undergrad studies. We will also talk to you about developing a program of study with your faculty advisor, and we give you all that information at orientation as well. Now, we are here to make sure your graduate studies are as pleasant as possible. So if there's anything we can do to help to make this very, very smooth, we are very happy to do so. Now, I'll pass this on to Tracy, who works with students in our one-year programs, to tell you about her role.
Hello, and thank you for joining. In the Buckhead Center, we are a team of 6 that will help you transition into your program. After you deposit, you will receive a welcome email from me that outlines your orientation date, orientation assignments, and program materials through Desire to Learn, which is our online web-based site. In the email, you will have your mandatory program orientation. That is different than the ISSS orientation. Both are mandatory. If you are unable to attend due to being out of the country, we have a makeup orientation, which would be closer to the start of school, if not around the first week in late August. If you are interested in attending that, or you're unable to attend your mandatory orientation, please let me know and I'll be happy to assist you with that. If you have any questions with any of the campus materials, program materials, orientation assignments, please reach out to me and I'll be happy to assist you along the way. Thank you.
Now we're going to turn it over to Drew from ISSS, and he's going to talk a little bit about the I-20 and visa process.
Hello everybody, this is Drew Webster. I'll be your immigration advisor while you're here at Georgia State, and specifically I oversee Robinson College, so I only deal with Robinson students. So I know any challenges you might face, anything like that, that is my specialty. So I just wanted to kind of get started here telling you a little bit about how you're going to get into the country. They might be laughing, I'm gesturing a little bit. But the first thing you're going to need is your I-20. Some of you might be aware of what that is, but just so you all know, your I-20 is your certificate of eligibility. It's what allows you to be eligible for the F1 status, which is the student status. You'll be using the I-20 to apply for your F1 visa at the local U.S. embassy or consulate in your country. When you get into the country, your I-20 becomes your most important document because it has your end dates on it according to the U.S. government. And you can always work with me about extending those dates, all of that. But the basic process for admittance is, how do you get your I-20? So the first thing is Robinson College notifies us that you've been admitted. Now this process sometimes can take a week or two, so if you were admitted yesterday, you won't be contacted by us just yet. But give us about a week or two and we will contact you with an email. And in that email, we'll give you the estimated expenses for what you need to show to us to prove that you can support yourself for a year, along with an international application form. This application form is not to apply to Georgia State. You've already been admitted. This form is merely to help us complete your I-20, to give us all the pertinent information. And you'll even attach your passport bio page to that, just a copy of it, not the original. And obviously your financial documentation too, to show that you can pay for your time here. Now, what qualifies as financial documentation, I know can sometimes trip students up. Generally, it can be something that's either your bank account, it can be your parents' bank account, it can be your uncle's bank account. Whoever is sponsoring you is their bank account. And what we need to see are checking or savings amounts that will equal the amount that you have to show to be able to afford to be here. You can include your GRA letter. If you have a GRA, that can definitely add towards it as well. But for your bank letter, we definitely need for it to be an original. It cannot be a copy. These are things that the U.S. government requires of us, and it's not something we can change. So once you get all that documentation into us, it'll take us about 5 business days or so to process it, and then we will send it back out to you. I know that there's been a lot of questions about it, so just so you guys know, we are working as hard as we can to get as many of these cranked out as fast as possible, but we also like to take our time to ensure that we do them correctly, because if we misspell your name and you go in there with a passport that has one name on it and your I-20 says something differently, and you go in to get your visa, they'll reject you. So we always make sure that everything is correct before we send it out. So the next phase of that process is getting your F1 visa and getting into F1 status. Now, when you get your visa, you'll be going to the U.S. consulate or embassy in your country. You'll make an appointment with them. There's a whole litany of things, a whole list of things that you can do that you'll have to bring with you. And instead of me trying to go through all the different pieces of documentation you need to bring, I want to refer you to our website, because there's about 8 or 9 different things you need to bring. On our website, it's isss.gsu.edu. Look under Future Students, and it'll lay out the entire process for getting your F1 visa. Some highlights of it that you'll definitely want to be aware of right now will include that you have to pay a $200 CVIS fee, which is the fee that they use for processing your I-20 and for processing your F1 visa, along with contacting the embassy beforehand to make sure you get an appointment and fill out the correct application form to them. Now, an important distinction to understand about your F1 visa that a lot of our students get confused about, and it's understandable, a lot of people in the U.S. get confused about it too, is that the expiration date on your F1 visa is not how long you can be in the country. It's just your entry document. Your F1 visa allows you to get in. Your I-20 dates are the most important dates for when you're in the country, because they say when your status ends. So after you get all of that, you'll apply, you'll come into the country, you'll come to our orientation, and we'll talk more about that later. But once you come to our orientation, we'll activate you into CVIS, which is the record-keeping system the government uses. Now, as Allison was saying earlier, we know that a big deal for a lot of you is getting employment while you're here, and we definitely want to help you facilitate that, but there are, of course, some limitations to it, given that you're a student status as a non-immigrant alien. That's what they'd call you. I don't like that term, but so you have 3 options for employment while you're on your F1 status. The first one is on campus. Now, that's something that requires no authorization from us. So a GRA or working at the local coffee shop on campus, you do not have to talk to us about that. You will automatically authorized to do that. However, during fall and spring term, you can only work part-time. During any breaks, summer, during Christmas break, you can work full-time. The same is true for our practical trainings that you'll see underneath. Practical training is something, there is one exception. For practical training, that is off-campus work, and any practical training has to be related to your major. It's the stipulation of the U.S. government that they want to see how you're applying your studies, because remember, you are a student status. They want you to ensure that you're not just going off and working at a job that has nothing to do with what you've been studying. Now, we have 2 types. Like I said, we have CPT up there. It's curricular practical training. That is what you'll be doing while you're in school. Afterwards, we have what's called optional practical training, OPT. That is after you graduate. You're allowed up to a year. So I'll start with CPT. For CPT, there's a variety of options for it, but generally it's something that has to do with your major, and it's generally either required or an elective. If it's required by your school, there are no real prerequisites that we ask for, because if it's required, you have to do it. So if you need to work full-time, that's fine. If you need to go ahead and get started as soon as you get here, that's fine. But if it's something that's just an elective, you do have to wait 2 semesters until you can actually start work, 2 academic terms. Also, it needs to be, if it's not required, it needs to be attached to a course, because you're getting graded on it. It is a grade of work. So those are the basic requirements for CPT. We approve it at our office. USCIS, which is Citizenship and Immigration Services, they are the ones that will approve your OPT. After we'll approve it first, and then we'll send in our approval with the rest of your documentation to USCIS. So OPT, like I said, it also has to do with your major, but unlike CPT, and I didn't say this actually, CPT is attached to a particular job. OPT is not. OPT is just a period of employment that you can use. You'll be receiving an actual card that you'll get from the U.S. government that allows you to work during that period. Now, obviously, we want it to be attached to a job. It has to be attached to your major. USCIS will be monitoring you on this. There are up to 12 months available, but if you are in a STEM major, you get an extra 17 months. The list of STEM majors is on our website, and if you have any questions about that, we honestly, please contact me as soon as possible so we can go ahead and start structuring your program. We don't want you to have to get into this a year into it and be like, oh, I'm not graduating with a STEM major. Check with me just to make sure you are. Because it might look like a STEM major, but according to the government, it might not technically be one. But yeah, so those are the basics for employment. I hope I covered everything, but if you have any questions, obviously at the end, I'm obviously available at the end or anytime you guys need to ask.
Now we are going to turn it over to Lindsay, and she's going to talk a little bit about the next steps with Career Services.
Hello everyone, my name is Lindsay Myers and I'm a graduate career counselor here at Robinson. You'll learn all about the Career Management Center during your orientation, but I wanted to get you thinking about a few things before you get started. One of the most important keys to your success in landing an internship or full-time position after graduation is getting involved ASAP, so as soon as possible. Like Allison mentioned earlier, one of the great ways to do this is to get involved in one of our many student organizations offered on campus and or community professional organizations and associations that are off campus out in the community. There's wonderful variety in the Atlanta area depending on your program. I'll be sending a list with lots of information to deposited students with links to many of these student organizations and professional organizations for you to consider joining upon arriving here in Atlanta. So once you're here, we want you to pay close attention to the Career Management Center calendar of events and your email for upcoming recruiting activities and company information sessions, as well as Career Management Center workshops and events. You can go ahead and mark your calendars now for the Fall Career Expo. That'll be September 19th, 2014, and the Expo prep will be before that. You'll get lots of information. But the Career Expo is consistently ranked among the top career fairs, and last year we had well over 100 top employers here from Atlanta present to recruit Robinson students. So you may be thinking about what you can do now, and in the next couple of weeks I'll be sending a packet to deposited students with information that's going to include lots of organizations that you can think about joining, but also a resume template so that you can use the template that I'll send you to go ahead and get your resume in top shape before you get here in the fall, since fall really is the busy recruiting season for most majors. International students, once you arrive, definitely plan a visit to go visit Drew so that you fully understand your visa status and your eligibility for internships, OPT, etc. Because it's really important when you're in the recruiting process for you to be able to explain your timing and your eligibility to potential employers. Don't make them do the work for you. Take the guesswork out of it and be able to articulate when you can work and when you would need the sponsorship and everything else. So congratulations again. We're ready for you to get here. Just get ready to immerse yourself here in Atlanta and our wonderful culture here. And get ready to make tons of new friends and just network with everyone that is in your classes, everyone that's in your professional organizations. Just get ready to fully immerse yourself in your new city. And now I'd like to turn it over to Gaurav, who's going to tell you just a little bit about his own recruiting experience here on campus.
Hi there again. I just want to start with the organization I'm a part of. I joined Beta Alpha Psi this February. As Allison talked, it is a nationally recognized tax, accounting, finance, and information systems organization with one of its chapter at GSU. With all its professional events, it gives tremendous opportunities for networking, which is really, really crucial in finding a job. There were events in the organization where companies like Big Four, Grant Thornton, which is among the top consulting firms after Big Four, and other companies from Atlanta visited the organization, and the campus recruiters directly talked to the members. It matters a lot since you get to the recruiters get to interact with students in person and can assess you better than just seeing your resume online. Due to my interactions with the recruiters, I got in the loop and was able to secure a job at PwC just after a month and a half after joining the Beta Alpha Psi.
Yay!
as most international students don't know this, but in the US, getting your resume selected is the most important part. That's why all of us here really want you to network while you're here. Besides professional events, Beta Alpha Psi also provides opportunities to participate in service events where you can give back to the community. Just talking about my current batch, many students are already doing full-time jobs. 4 of us recently got jobs in the last month in major firms like PwC, Ernst & Young, UPS, and we are just halfway through the program. 4 of my batchmates are doing internship at General Electric and another one in UPS. Actually, that was one of the major reasons I chose Atlanta, because it's a really big corporate hub. And well, just network, I would say. So yeah, I'll turn back to Nicole.
So now I want to talk a little bit about graduate research assistantships. I know a lot of you have had questions about these. So just to give you a little overview, GRA positions can cover either full or partial tuition depending on what your program is. And then also you have a monthly stipend. You typically work about 8 to 20 hours per week depending on what type of GRA position you have. And something to really keep in mind is that these positions are actively sought out by the students themselves. You must go out and try to find them. They are not going to be handed to you. You have to kind of seek them out, contact people, and they can be anywhere on campus. So it doesn't just have to be in the Robinson College of Business. It can be in athletics, it can be in ISSS, it can be anywhere on campus. So make sure you kind of reach out if you have an interest in a certain area, reach out to those people to talk with them. You also can apply through GRA Hire at gsu.edu for positions within the RCB. These positions are typically looked at by faculty members, and they will contact you if they have interest in your resume. You can also send your resume to me for inclusion in a resume book that I will circulate myself to faculty throughout the RCB. So my email is at the end of the presentation, so feel free to send me your resume through that. Now just to talk a little bit about the orientation and start dates. So kind of take a look through this list, see which program is yours, write down your specific dates. Something to keep in mind is that if you are an international student, it is absolutely mandatory to come to the International Student Orientation from August 18th to the 21st. You have to be there. There's also, so as you can see, there's for the flex programs, there's BA 5000, as Tanya mentioned earlier, and then specific orientations for the one-year programs. And then you can see your start dates from there. Keep in mind that as an international student, you can only enter the US 30 days before your start date. And now Molin's going to talk a little bit about how to connect with other students at Robinson College of Business.
Thank you, Nicole. My name is Molin. I am a student in the MPA program here at Georgia State, and I am also the graduate assistant for Allison Jacobs. As you can see, we have a huge presence on the social media sites. First of all, we have the Facebook group, which is called the RCB Admitted Student page. So if you go on Facebook to search RCB Admitted Students, you will find us. You can add us, and we can talk about the living here in Atlanta, about the different student life, the campus resources that we have to offer here at Georgia State. For our Chinese students, since they don't have access to Facebook, we also have an online discussion board. It's called cnstudentbbs.com, where you can also post your admission questions, check out apartments, have items for sale, just any student services that we have on there. At the same time, we also have a similar Twitter services called Weibo in China. You can find us on www.weibo.com/RobinsonGSU, where you can find interesting facts, information about our school.
Great, thank you, Molin. So that will conclude our presentation today. We would like to open up the chat for questions. If you just type your question into the chat, we will read it aloud and then have somebody answer it. You can direct it towards anyone that is on the presentation today. And we really thank you for joining us and look forward to seeing you in the fall.